Okay, single player, standard. Right, the nerfed Mishka. Let's be Alium. I like Alium a lot. And let's go with this. Let's go with this. And let's put a hat on him. Let's make him look super stupid. Alright, beautiful. Right, this is not... Oh, God. So I've been playing... I probably mention this every single time I play this game, but since I've been playing Roguelands, I actually really want this game to have a sideways dodge system exactly like Roguelands. Whoa. I forgot just how much Alium can jump. Damn. Alright, this is gonna suck. We're probably gonna die, maybe? No, I don't know. We might get lucky here, but, man, it's been a while. Maybe they changed it so Alium jumps really high underwater, to make up for the fact that everybody else can swim. That actually makes a lot of sense, come to think of it. I like that. Okay. Though we still have infinite jumps, it's not the same as, like, the underwater jumps. This is such a weird character. I love him, though. Wish this gun did more damage, but we'll get there. Actually, pretty quick, too, if I keep leveling at this pace. Just keep aiming for the eyeballs. We'll be okay. I'm curious about things killed by stuff by the ceiling. Okay, stuff killed by the ceiling does not count as experience for me, from what I can tell. That's a shame, but that's not the end of the world. Okay. Oh, shoot, there's a box in there. Well, too late for me to come back for that. Let's go for the HP. It has been a while since I played this game. I miss it. I miss when, I guess this game never updated particularly consistently, honestly. But, like, I miss when Vagante and Catacomb Kids, and actually, no, Catacomb Kids never really updated consistently either. Alright, I miss it. I miss the days when Vagante was updating frequently and changing things up and making it really exciting. I'm really looking forward to new games that are coming out this year that will maybe fill that role. I don't know. I miss having, like, really solid repetitive content, and there hasn't been a whole lot in a long time. So I've obviously kind of switched over in a lot of ways to playing a ton of, like, JRPGs, which I actually really like. Oh, I was hoping I'd be able to get that, but no dice. Yeah, I've switched over a lot to JRPGs, which obviously I know not as many people are enthused about, which kind of is a shame, but totally makes sense. I mean, it's hard to watch something midway through, especially like on stream. Let's see, but it's, yeah, I mean, it's also a lot of JRPGs are kind of subpar. I'm thinking specifically Xenoblade, seeing as that's the one I beat yesterday, and it's just like the plot. It hurt so much. I need someone to fill my hole. I think I said that hole, but, I mean, you know what? Sure, we'll fill both of those holes. Like, alright, and we get a knife. Beautiful. Seriously, though, like, as far as YouTube content goes, you don't really think about this, but it's so easy for, like, a YouTuber to more or less fall out of relevance, without even trying. Like, I'm gonna talk about other YouTubers again, yay! Take Rayquaza, for example. Unfortunately, the dude's only claim to fame was, Risk of Rain. And ever since, he really hasn't, you know, been as, like, he hasn't been as prominent on the market just because, well, he hasn't had a Risk of Rain-like success in ages. And, you know, I mean, nothing wrong with it, but it always hurts to be a YouTuber that goes, like, one direction, you know, really has a plan for their channel, and it quickly drops off because there's nothing. I don't even know. Okay. Just kind of focused on survival. And so that's part of the reason why stuff like, oh shoot. Holy Potatoes Weapon Shop, Vagante, Catacomb Kids, Cavern Kings, I'm getting walloped here. Always scare me, because I know there's only a half-life on the content, and if there's nothing to fill that void, it's just like, well, what am I gonna do? And so you just kind of sit around being like, there is nothing coming out for a while and stuff. Let's see. Ow. Ow. Okay, we should probably go for this. Luckily, we'll be able to get several HP ups here, assuming I don't get killed beforehand. Unfortunately, the other one is in kind of a danger zone, so I don't really want to touch it. Okay, that's fine. What's it with me and putting HP pickups directly in danger zones? Very hard to land on these. My jump is so poppy. It's weird. Okay. Well, as long as none of the big worms come for me, I think we're safe. I was really hoping that we'd be able to get one, but it's really... Oh, I'm about to die. Yeah, got there. Let's see, variety channels always have content, but less viewer loyalty. It depends, though. Because, like, the problem is if you're a very specific channel, you end up getting stuck in a way. You know, Minecraft. Minecraft has a limited half-life. Let's see, what other good examples can I come up with easily? I mean, there are many. But, like, any game that a person will get specifically famous for, the moment that game stops being popular is the moment that person loses their claim to fame and they lose their growth. So variety channels do tend to have less viewer loyalty, sort of, but I find they do better overall just because they can survive change. What's a good example? I don't know, Game Grumps. Game Grumps is a perfect example. I mean, sure, they're famous for, like, a couple of their playthroughs. Like, who doesn't know about John and Aaron's famous freakout incident from, I want to say, like, episode 16, 17 of Sonic 06? Like, that's viral, and even for people that don't know who John and Aaron are, really, oops, a lot of people will know of that, clip just because. And, you know, good for them, because they stood out because of their personalities and stuff like that. That's kind of one of those where it's like, it's better to aim for being a personality channel. It's why... You know, PewDiePie obviously was known for his amnesia and horror stuff, but he's been moving away from it. And it seems to be still working for him. He's dropped off in comparison to Markiplier, who's still much more, like, loyal to the genre. But, I don't know. I feel like there really is... Like, actually, yeah, horror is a perfect example of stuff. You know, I can't actually, except for Soma, in the past couple months, there really haven't been a whole lot of good horror games coming out for a while. Ew, PewDiePie. I mean, I don't hate the guy. I don't like his content, but I like him. But I think he's a good example of he's the perfect example of somebody that, you know, had their day and stuff like that. And, you know, you get to kind of analyze it from there. Because the dude definitely was really famous for a while. And, you know, it's dropped off since. A lot of people have actually taken over in terms of, like, daily, monthly views. And good for them. But like, just going back to horror, there was a thing a while back about PewDiePie not playing, or not liking Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, he played the most recent one and was super meh about it, and everybody was giving him shit for that. I actually thought it was one of the more admirable things that he's done. Jesus Christ. These rocks are gonna kill me. Okay, there we go. So we want to buy one of each. Okay, do we have enough? No, we don't have enough for either of these. Okay, that's fine. But, what was it? Five Nights at Freddy's 4 or 5? I'm not entirely sure. But, you know, effectively it came out saying, you know, I'm not actually interested in this. It's formulaic. I'm bored. And so he did, like, maybe 1 or 2 videos and stuff like that. Let's see. But so, you know, I actually thought that was really admirable because he was being honest about it. But it got me thinking. It's like, except for Soma, what was the other like really good horror game to come out in the past couple months? The only one I can think of is Albino Lullaby, and honestly, gonna be honest here, yeah, gonna be honest here, like, most horror Let's Players probably wouldn't get a whole lot of, interesting content out of Albino Lullaby. It wasn't a jump scare game. So it's probably not gonna appeal to their audience in the same manner. In fact, the game was hardly scary. I found it more interesting than anything else. Which did mean that it didn't do nearly as well. But, whatever. They succeeded in making actually good horror game as far as I'm concerned, which is way better. But, like, thinking about it, yeah, the horror genre hurts. Just like the roguelike genre, like, you'll have a ton of them, but are they good? Like, I got an email earlier today, asking me to try out this guy's roguelike, and I mean, actually, he might have actually watched this video, and I'm totally gonna cover the game. But it definitely looked like one of those that's probably just going to get eaten up by the market because it's not good enough to get, like, you know, a major following. I'm thinking of games like Nuclear Throne and Binding of Isaac and Risk of Rain. Those had, like, huge followings, so everybody's like, yeah, roguelikes are really successful, and, you know, most of these aren't even that, like, great of games, so it'd be easy to do well in them. But, like, every roguelike has, like, something about it that makes it stand out really well, be it, like, polish, be it certain mechanics, certain whatevers, or just, like, a visual style. And honestly, oh god, I'm gonna go on another tangent. I'm actually gonna say, just backing up a bit, the biggest failing of most indie games, especially, like, roguelikes that I've seen, is art. I've seen a lot of great-ish, interesting roguelikes that honestly fall completely flat because they look terrible. And it's the same thing with horror games. Like, I see a lot of horror games that probably could actually be pretty good. Did I call jump scare games horror? I mean, it's still horror, it's just a shitty subsection. But it's still horror, even if it's bad horror. It's like, it's calling, like, the really shitty, you know, homebrew slasher fix, in the same, vein as, like, I don't know, Hitchcock. It's still the same genre, but boy, are they completely incomparable. Even though at this point I actually consider Hitchcock's movies to be kind of bad. Technically they were awesome at the time, but the movie industry has moved far from. Though, honestly, I guess I haven't really seen any good horror movies lately either. So I guess what am I saying? I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, like, a lot of roguelikes just look bad. The last one that I was particularly... Well, okay, so... okay, gotta remember, can't jump. There was a big gem over there that I could have gotten. Whatever. So, let's talk other games. Indie games, for example, just for a bit. So, recently I was playing a game called Slash Quest. It's a 3 to 5 minute, like, sort of hack and slash type game. It's weird. But, like, the game is gorgeous. It looks really nice. It has really nice... I mean, it was kind of flashy, but honestly, there's nothing wrong with the flashy art style, as long as, like, it's quality and not, like, just super tweeny and bad. Lots of explosions are happening around here. Oops. Don't want to fall off completely. Unfortunately, my gun has some pretty heavy kickback here, and we're not getting a whole lot of health. Oh, that's okay. But, so, Slash Quest, I mean... If you've got the time, go take a look at it. I did a very short video on it. The game is not a technical marvel. The game isn't even, like, that gorgeous in comparison to a lot, but it looks a hell of a lot better than most games that I've played in a very long time. Let's see. But just because it's... You know, a lot of, like, effort and love was put into that style, and I'm going to assume that the art was actually done by, like, a legitimate artist. I guess one of the biggest failings I continue to see with people that are, like, seriously trying to make indie games is they think they can do it solo. Because, oh shoot, who's the guy that did, Fez? Phil Fish. Phil Fish did, Fez solo, I believe. He could do the art and he could do the programming. I had a good buddy in college who, we would do game jams together, and the guy barely was a team player. He was a complete genius with code, but he did not work, he did not communicate, so oftentimes the team was just kind of, like, flailing around wondering what the hell to do, because he was the only one that knew what to do next, and I'd just be like, so, what do you need? And he's like, just do whatever, and I'm like, okay, that's super useful. But, so, ow. Watch out for those blade things. Oh. He's already dead. Okay, well that makes it convenient. I think they've gotten rid of burst fire at this point. That's okay. Let's see, did Notch do his game solo? No, not even close. Notch had a small team working under him before Minecraft. Oh shit, it's these things. I hate these things. But yeah, I think Minecraft was a couple-man team along the way. Okay. There we go. That probably wasn't worth it either way. I don't want to stay on that planet anymore. That specific one is bad. You know, it's very rare to see an indie game that is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous and completely boring. There are a couple of them. I guess a good example of one that I played last year, 2 years ago, Shattered Planet. Gorgeous roguelike, but way, way too boring to be worth more than a couple of episodes. Like, it had its merits, but there was no depth of gameplay, so it was just like, well, I've done the thing. Now I can grind forever and do slightly more difficult things that are the same thing as the original thing, but that's the extent of it. Or I could just move on to another game that's more interesting. Whereas conversely, like, I guess actually I will make mention, Tower of Guns was a solo project, come to think of it, and it was damn good. Tower of Guns is quite possibly one of the most impressive solo game projects I've seen in a while, just because it's such a quality game for, you know, a one-man thing. And, I mean, that's entirely because that guy was experienced beforehand. And I hate to say this, but it does feel like a lot of indie developers might actually do better if they start in the games industry and then move to indie. Because I see a lot of students that want to just go straight to indie because getting jobs in the games industry is hard. I'm looking at myself, actually, with this one. For quite a while, I was trying to, you know, work on my own indie games, you know, form teams, that sort of thing, or find teams that I can work with. I even did some freelance work for a couple of people along the way for that, and it was a mess. It wasn't good. We weren't prepared, and we very quickly got in over our heads. And we never finished a single project. And I still would love to make indie games, but obviously, not so much so. Yeah, Tower of Guns was made, programmed, and, you know, made by one dude. The only exception is the soundtrack. That's a good example too, actually. Don't be afraid to outsource if you can. Admittedly, he got lucky. His brother was actually a musician of some variety, so the brother made the soundtrack for him, which I thought was kind of adorable. Because there's a couple of like path-throughs through Tower of Guns that's effectively him talking to his brother, the person that made the soundtrack or whatever, which I thought was adorable. Even if, you know, honestly, I never paid attention to any of the stories, because I was too busy playing Tower of Guns. But still. But that game was absolutely visually stunning, and that's because that guy worked on Kingdoms of Amalur. He was a technical artist. Technical artists are the people that generally kind of combine 3D modeling and code, so they know a little bit of programming, a little bit of art, and can kind of do both, and they fill the gaps between, you know, where the programmers and the artists are. And so that actually put him in a really good position to be a solo indie game developer. Musician of some variety. What about taking shots? I don't know what the guy does. He could be an astrophysicist. I'm looking at you, you know, Ninja Brian, who is, you know, the quieter half of Ninja Sex Party, and has a PhD in theoretical physics. Like, I don't know. There are a lot of people that have multiple talents. I mean, take Birdcatcher, for example. Technically a musician, but probably going to be a programmer for most of his life. Let's see. But, you know, so I see a lot of, like, indie projects that come out of people, and most of the time they're from students that, you know, have quit the industry, or have, you know, quit the industry before they even started. And, you know, try and make an indie project. And oftentimes, you know, they don't have the capital or the team built beforehand, so they try and do everything themselves. And, you know, try and get it published on Steam and get rich quick. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know, especially if you can do it well. But, like, you look at Greenlight, and it's just, like, made by students, made by students, made by students. And you look at it, and you're like, ooh. Not only was it made by students, I'm not entirely sure if they actually have an art student on that docket, or if it's just the one developer that had an artistic bone in his or her body. Which feels really bad. But, like, you know, it's always worthwhile to go out of your way to try and get an artist. The problem is, oftentimes, you know, everybody has to eat. So how do you approach the problem of, like, oh god. How do you approach the problem of getting enough people on your project that you can actually get it off the ground without spending stupid amounts of money on it? And there's no answer. A lot of the times you either have to sucker somebody into it, or find somebody that's just as desperate as you to go halvesies on a project with you. which is actually a pretty good deal, but you really have to make sure, like, sell the idea. I can't count the number of developers, and actually writers for a while, that, you know, wanted to poach me and, you know, my abilities to make something for them. So for quite a while, you know, I was drawing comics for fun, and I would have people walk by and be like, yo, you know, I really want to make a webcomic, but I can't draw. You know, could you do the art for me? And I'll write it. I'm like, why would I do that for you when I can already do it for myself? And, you know, a number of the developers that I got contacted by were like, yeah, so I've already got, like, the idea for the game, and I've already got all the mechanics down, but I need the art for it, and then we can, like, split the profits part way after the fact. I'm like, okay, so if it doesn't make me any money, I've effectively enslaved myself to you for what reason? It's like, well, portfolio stuff. And it's like, man, I could just do that on my own. And it sucks. Like, I realize that this is, like, the worst two-way street that everybody gets stuck on when they're beginning indie game development. And that's why I'm saying, you know, the idea of working in the industry beforehand is such a valuable thing. Or maybe not the industry specifically, but any industry to the point where you can gather your team. Oops, well, I'm gone. That's okay, though. Just because, oh, what's a good example? I mean, Vigil, the people that made Torchlight, those guys were ex-Blizzard employees, for the most part, I think, when they started. And, I mean, very obviously they cloned Diablo, but they made a goddamn great Diablo clone. It looks like it's really good. And, you know, the game was all the better for it. But admittedly, I'm effectively suggesting here that people enslave themselves to, honestly, kind of a shitty industry. The games industry is very, very rough on people. Went back and was talking to some of my old coworkers, and they sounded pretty tired, to put it plainly. It's kind of one of those where it's like, it's hard to make it in the indie games industry without doing that, though, because you just don't have the experience, or just basically the funds, which is unfortunate. Let's see, if you do anything just for the hobby and you're right out of college, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, pretty much. And it kind of depends. I started this as a hobby, and I'm turning it into a business, but I was beholden to nobody except for, I guess, you guys, the entire way through. Nobody was like, hey, you know, we should go halvesies on a YouTube channel. Actually, you know what? No. I will take that back. I said that to Shell. I was like, hey, we should go halvesies on a YouTube channel. And she's like, no. And it's like, okay. That's easy enough. And then, you know, I more or less took over the channel. And she, you know, guest star on quite a number of things. But there was very little responsibility for her in the entire process, which I actually think was a very good idea. And this is part of the reason why it, can I get to the exit? Yes, I can. Okay, so the shop is not directly placed on top of the exit. But boy, was it close. Oh, god damn it, I just bought a chainsaw. I don't want to do that. There we go. Well, we might as well equip it. I don't use the chainsaw that much. Now, I believe I can actually put it away. Yeah. So I can actually keep the chainsaw around for periods where I'm actually in danger here, which is kind of great. So I'll probably whip it out if I need to kill some slabs. Or dig, come to think of it. Hey, there we go. Okay. I'll go halvesies on the channel with you. I'll do the art and commentary, you do the gaming. I don't even know what that means. So would I just, like, play the game and you commentate over it? That'd be interesting. But, obviously, in my position, the answer is always going to be no. If anybody tries to, like, recruit me for things that aren't, like, just collaborative projects as opposed to, like, full-on things. Man. Oh, man. We were doing a podcast a couple weeks ago, and somebody had asked my buddy Sebastian SB... Oh, shit, we tossed the key elsewhere. Had asked my buddy Sebastian SB if he was ever going to, like, hire... more or less, like, employees for his channel, you know, people to make videos and stuff. with him or for him or whatever. Kind of like how more or less Game Grumps is Aaron's thing, you know, Ego Raptor, and that everybody else is more or less his employee from there. Obviously, like, for starters, they make a hell of a lot more money than we do. Like, me right now, I could barely afford to live in a single, not even a single bedroom apartment, a studio apartment in a cheap part of, like, in one of the cheaper cities, food and insurance, and, like, basic utilities. And even then, just barely, to the point where it would be sketchy, paycheck to paycheck and whatnot. Obviously don't want to do that. So, like, the concept of even bringing anybody else onto a channel and even having to split my meager sums is just silly, and it honestly kind of mystifies me a little bit that people think that YouTubers actually make a lot of money. Let's see. Didn't Game Grumps art guy start on Newgrounds? You mean Ego Raptor? The answer is yes. Ego Raptor was super popular for ages. Well before Game Grumps even started, in fact. He's quite possibly one of the most well-known... Okay, we want the chainsaw for this. Okay, now we leave. I want nothing to do with this planet right now. Oh, shit. Did we lose it? I might have broken it. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, well, one way or another. But yeah, Aaron Hansen, a.k.a. Ego Raptor, a.k.a., you know, one of the Game Grumps, is quite possibly one of the most famous Newgroundser. As far as I'm concerned. Oh, shit. There's my chainsaw. I got it stuck in the ceiling. Well, I don't think I'm getting that back. He was in charge of a lot of, like, really big collaborations between a lot of other animators at the time. So, for example, he did the entire Awesome series, so, like, Metal Gear Awesome. Oh, shoot, there were a couple other ones that I forget. He was the, There's Something About Halo, I think was his project? No, There's Something About Halo was another guy. But he did the like Halo collaborative projects. He did a lot of ones. One of the most well known. I mean, it really depends on the era you're from. For me, when I was in middle school, everybody knew who Ego Raptor was because he did the funniest animations out of like everybody on Newgrounds. And this is like before PC gaming was really a thing. Hell, this is like back in the infancy of RuneScape. So, you know, back when people like kind of knew what World of Warcraft was, but it was mostly like not. It wasn't as popular as it was. It was getting there. Let's see. Come on. My knockback is saving my ass here, if nothing else. Okay. Knockback and the fact that these guys drop a hell of a lot of health pickups, which is very welcome. Okay. We should probably start digging down, but I want to grab whatever reward I can along the way. Okay. Yeah, Sequelitis was used in your game design class. Yeah, Sequelitis was... Honestly, Sequelitis is, like, incredible. I really wish Aaron would do more stuff like that, but obviously it's a hell of a lot easier to do Game Grumps. That's part of the reason why I don't do anything, you know, as impressive as, you know, Sequelitis or any of those, like, longer shows, because, honestly, it's just hard to make that kind of content, and if, you can't secure growth out of, like, good growth out of it, it's pointless, and stuff. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's hard to explain, like, different eras. Okay, so this is gonna sound really weird and kind of stupid, but Ego Raptor was just as internet famous back in the days of Newgrounds as he is now with Game Grumps, but for completely different reasons. So, like, you know, every kid more or less knew who he was at that point in time. That was, you know, clued into the culture. Let's see. Familiar with the game Windforge at all? I've heard the name, I don't know. Oh, is Windforge. See, the problem is there's Windforge, there's Skyforge, there's Starforge, and goddamn if I can't remember which ones are which. Honestly, we need more damage here. I need some clumps of iron. Is that the one with the flying whales? That's kind of Minecrafty? I don't even know. Alright, whatever. Ooh, black hole box. Not a damage upgrade, but I like it anyway. Okay. But, I don't know. It's weird. Internet culture changes rapidly, and I'm kind of hoping that, like, YouTubing doesn't go away that fast. But it doesn't seem like it will, so that's good. Yeah, it's got flying whales. Yeah, I never really got into it, just because, sandbox games generally don't... Sandbox games generally don't appeal to me very well. I often just, like, start playing them, and I'm like, yeah, so what the hell do I do here? Oh, hello. Hey! I like homestick shards. They're actually really good now. They used to be just kind of weird, and it's like, I don't know if this is really useful, but now they're amazing. Because I can use it to more or less just pop myself above enemies and just wail on them, and they can't deal with it because of the knockback system. I love the new knockback mechanics that they shoved in this game. They're a little bit funky, but still. I probably get my... I will probably just scoot my butt upwards. But still. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up fired into the ceiling as a result of this, but still. Let's get out of here. Oh, it's boss time. I'm not even really ready for this. That's okay. Damaging this boss might suck a bit. In retrospect, there's no reason for me to have blown that up, is there? Because the entire level grows back almost immediately. I really love the leaf blocks. Ow. In this, the leaf blocks in this game work really well. Did I get him? Oh, I must have gotten him frozen. I critted him, so he got slowed down. Which is really effective. Okay. Yeah, so as long as I don't get hit by his face, this guy's actually pretty damn easy. It's when he dives straight into you that everything sucks. Because, yeah, his little shots barely do damage. Beautiful. I really miss when bosses would actually drop good equipment. Oh, well. There we go. Anything good from here? Because the eyeballs are pretty good. Okay. I'm just trying to think of other things. Topics. Go back to the rambling. Developers hire artists, please. Or at least spend more time on your artwork. Ah, okay. Oh, because I was experiencing, I was in the middle of an iframe. The saw blade did not hit me there. Good. Good. That would have sucked. Okay, nope, well. I didn't want to go down with the key, but whatever. Let's see. Who likes RTS games? I love RTS games. I just don't do them on my channel because, for the most part, nobody's generally interested in watching them. Though I really should actually cover that Homeworld game you sent me, Ozzy. Because I would like to play Homeworld again. I actually never played, I didn't play a whole lot of different games when I was younger. I think I've talked about this before, but my parents are, like, legendarily stingy. So, like, it took me a long time to convince my mother that it was worthwhile buying new games. Because her logic was always, well, you already have this one. And it's like, yes, but I've beaten it. And unfortunately, I feel like my mother kind of comes from the mentality of, like, well, you know, people love playing football over and over and over again. And I fired myself straight off of a fish straight into the ceiling. That sucks. Alright. Whatever. I kind of saw that coming a mile away. But yeah, just to finish, so, like, I think there was a period of about 4 years where the only 3 games that I owned were Mega Man X, Red Alert, and, Chex Quest. And those were the 3 games that we would play. Non-stop, because we had nothing else to play. And I mean, admittedly, I lived in New Mexico, in Los Alamos, mind you. So, good luck getting anything, any, like, major products up there. I don't think I even heard of a GameStop till I was, like, 12. We'd actually have to drive to, like, Target, which was 2 hours away to buy anything video game related, which was nuts. I got really good at, Mega Man X, and really good at, Red Alert, and never beat Chex Quest because I could never find my way out of there. I don't even know. But yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. Doesn't matter.